The story of modern China begins with the end of an old world. The Ming presided over great cities, refined art, and a complex state. Yet beneath the surface, deep problems grew. Coffers ran dry as corruption spread, while heavy taxes weighed on households. A string of bad harvests and bitter winters pushed families to the edge. In the 1640s, uprisings erupted across the north. Li Zicheng's rebel army stormed Beijing as the Ming collapsed. The Chongzhen emperor chose death over surrender. A Ming general opened the wall to enlist Manchu aid against the rebels. The Manchus drove the rebels out and stayed. They proclaimed a new dynasty, the Qing. Han men were ordered to adopt the queue, a symbol of submission, sparking fierce resistance and reprisals. The Qing paired hard power with inclusion, retaining institutions and recruiting talented Han into the new order. Through pragmatism and control, they consolidated a sprawling, multi-ethnic empire. After conquest came a century of power and confidence, but the foundations of greatness would be tested by growth from within and pressures from without. Kangxi, Yongjing, and Qianlong presided over the High Qing. Borders expanded and alliances secured as emperors posed as patrons of Buddhism to win the steppe. Repaired waterways and New World crops fueled bumper harvests. China's population tripled across the 18th century. Culture flourished even as imperial catalogs curated and censored the past. A small cadre of officials ruled hundreds of millions. Banner troops, once formidable, grew complacent. In a realm this vast, orders could not outrun distance. Qianlong's campaigns drained the treasury. Grand corruption hollowed public works and flood defenses. Population pressure and inequality fed banditry and millenarian faiths. A guerrilla war forced the court to arm local militias, empowering strongmen. The empire stood, impressive yet inflexible, poised for the next shock. Foreign trade was confined to Canton, funneled through Kohong merchants. As Qianlong declared, China possessed all things in prolific abundance. British silver poured in to pay for tea. The East India Company found an answer: opium. By the 1830s, addiction ravaged families, productivity fell, and silver bled out. In 1839, Lin Zexu moved to crush the trade. 20,000 chests were destroyed at Human. Britain answered with steam and steel. The Qing were outmatched. Defeat brought indemnities, cession of Hong Kong, and treaty ports. Others demanded the same. China's door had been forced open. The myth of invincibility shattered, exposing institutional weakness that foreign powers would exploit, and that rebels soon would too. Hong Xiuquan proclaimed a heavenly kingdom and drew the dispossessed to his cause. The Taiping seized Nanjing in 1853, splitting China in two. 14 years of war killed tens of millions. With banners failing, provincial Han commanders formed modern forces and saved the dynasty. Empowering regional armies weakened central control. Reformers built arsenals, shipyards, and schools, Western tools for a Confucian state. But conservatism and corruption blunted change. Japan transformed institutions, not just hardware. The First Sino-Japanese War exposed China's modernization as incomplete. Powers pressed for concessions. The crisis of the state deepened. Reform flickered and failed, then fury surged. When the dust settled, the old order's days were numbered. The 100 Days reform was crushed, credibility with it. The Boxer disaster brought occupation and indemnity. A mutiny ignited provinces, and a dynasty fell. In 1912, the Republic was born to great hope. Yuan crushed rivals, and even crowned himself emperor. His death opened the Warlord era. China fractured under armed satraps, war, taxes, famine. The KMT sought national unity, the CCP social revolution. Chiang Kai-shek drove to reunify the country. The Fragile Alliance broke into civil war. By 1928, a nominal unity returned, but beneath it, old fractures remained. In 1931, Japan seized Manchuria and installed a puppet state. A clash in 1937 escalated into full-scale war. Major cities fell: Shanghai, then the capital, Nanjing. The Nanjing massacre and mass displacement scarred a nation. The government retreated inland to fight on. Nationalists bore the brunt in set-piece battles. Communists waged guerrilla war and built peasant support. In 1945, Japan surrendered. China was victorious, but shattered. The KMT and CCP fought again for the nation's future. Battlefield fortunes tilted toward the communists. In 1949, Mao Zedong proclaimed the People's Republic of China. From Ming splendor to Manchu rule, from gunboats to uprisings, invasion and revolution, China's long 19th century remade the state, the society, and the very idea of the nation.